Jai, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Great to
Krishna,
be
Guru.
with everyone. Sahasa. Is that right?
Yes.
That means courage.
Yes.
Um, okay, let's see. We're recording, and
So,
our
Gurudev,
prayers to our prayers to Srila Prabhupada is our invocation. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pricharne Nirvashesha Shonyavari Paskacha Deshe Tarane. Jai. In my prayers to all of you, Vanchakapatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
And our obeisances to you, Gurudev. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthad Bhutale Srimate Narahari Dasa Gurudevi Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthad Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvise Shushunyavadi Pasadeshu Tarinayane. Jai Gurudev. Jai
Hare
Prabhupada.
Krishna. So I'm going to pause this. Actually, we can chat for a minute, and then I'm going to pause it. It's doing its last kneading of the bread. Then I'm going to go reshape it. But it's so. What I was going to one of the things is Sahasa asked a very nice question last week about why do Christians eat meat, and I gave an answer, but I think we all experience sometimes we answer something to the best of our ability, but then later we have some, oh geez, why didn't I say this, or why didn't this come to mind? So something interesting came to my mind, and I'm going to share that, but I'm going to put this on pause for a minute, which I never think to do. It's the first time I've done it. Okay, great. So one of the things I thought about with Sahasa's question about why do Christians eat meat, and what I would basically do is flip this around and say, why are there Vaishnavas, devotees that eat meat? There are devotees that eat meat, even Vaishnavas. Now, that isn't right. It's a matter of their levels of realization. For example, if someone starts chanting, someone's new and they come around, they're just very, very new. It's a very gradual process. We have to preach to each audience is different. And like a doctor, he has to examine very carefully. If someone's ill, may not be able to give them as much antibiotic as he'd like to give them, but he knows their body won't be able to handle it. So in the same way, there are devotees, they're just not ready to give it up. And eventually they will be. Or sometimes they have a fall down. That's not unusual. We read in our scriptures, and especially Srimad Bhagavatam, about many, many great devotees that have difficulties. It's not always a perfect, even sail back to the spiritual world. And sometimes we make mistakes, and Maya gets the best of us, and we revert back to things that we've done in the past. So, and again, I stick to what I said before about the fact that most people that are teaching Christianity, they don't fully understand. And again, I'm not qualified to speak on the Bible, but if they have someone like Tirtha Prabhu, my disciple, he really understands the Bible, and he can explain better that Jesus didn't. He condemned it. He condemned meat eating. Again, I think I mentioned last week, I know there's some passages about him when he created fish for the people, for the fishermen. But he was preaching for, and Prabhupada many times said that he was preaching for time and circumstance. Even Bhakti Siddhanta, who's so strict, Prabhupada's spiritual master, he's Nisringa Guru, he's so strict. And I can't remember the fine details of this. It may be in the Prabhupada Lilamrita, if any of you've read that recently. But there was a time when there were certain people that Bhakti Siddhanta wanted to invite in, certain, I guess maybe political people, and they wouldn't come unless there was meat served. And Bhaktisiddhanta said, then serve the meat, and he even told them how to do it. He said, let have the hotel arrange the hotel. They will arrange. They will touch, and so on. So that's there. You have to kind of meet people where they're at, and I guess Bhaktisiddhanta set the strongest example. That if you start chanting Hare Krishna, especially if you're innocent, it's so powerful that eventually that desire will be lost, and we'll begin to feel compassion for animals. That's one of the qualities of a Vaishnava, is compassion. I've seen my godbrothers that have had difficulties, and they're back to eating meat. So that's one of my answers. I thought about that we see sometimes devotees do that. Meat eating is also there in the scriptures. If someone wants to eat meat, not cow, but I'm talking about devotees that go back to eating cow. I've seen that. Not often, but I see it. And certainly new people, they're eating cow, they're going to McDonald's, or they're eating, hamburgers and this, that, and the other. But in the scriptures, it's there. If you can eat goat, but that has to be offered to Goddess Kali. And who can tell us I don't know the Sanskrit, I've never heard it, but who knows what is the message? What happens when to properly worship Kali and eat goat? Who knows what you say, what is said? Anybody ever heard or read this in Prabhupada's books?
Gurudev, it's called, in Sanskrit, it's some Ved mantra, Mamsa. Mamsa means, Mam means I, Sa means you. So that's a Ved mantra saying that in this life, you animal, I will eat you. Next life, you will eat me. So that is the agreement in front of Kali, and she is honoring that agreement.
Exactly.
And once a month in a dark moon or night, when other animals or anybody else should not hear the pain of that particular animal. It's exactly how the Quran also tells how halal animal is done. And Quran says all edible plants are halal. You don't have to do halal. So it's natural. Any edible plants are halal. But for animals, you have to make sure the animal is not in a stress condition. You have to chant kalma. That's what it's called. Just like our hymns is called kalma. And then another animal should not hear the pain of this animal. Otherwise, you cannot sacrifice that animal. So are they really following the status standard? Is it possible?
And who was that? Was that for the Muslims?
Yes, Gurudev. Muslims do that's the second half was the slaughter for the Muslims, and also I said about the slaughter how it's done in Vedic or Kali tradition, Sakta traditions normally it's called. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's there. It's there in the Vedas, and also, by the way, there is sanction for eating cow. Who can answer? Who can? That people can, in the Vedas, they can eat cow. Who could tell me a little about that? There is in Scripture the allowance of eating cow. The answer is that if a cow dies naturally, it just naturally dies, then the meat can be eaten. But it's only eaten by the lower class people. They call them muchis. Those that are not so advanced in spiritual life, they would not want to. But the cow dies naturally. It can be eaten. If it's had a nice life, and like even Vaishnavas, we use the parts of the cow for the skins of mridangas, right? And it's actually said that no part of the bowel of the cow's body is wasted. It can be basically composted into the ground and used. So that's my answer, but I'd like to have, next time we're together with Tirtha, we can ask him to explain further from a Christian perspective. But I know that he says, no, Jesus did not. Prabhupada would always say, Jesus said, thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not kill. But most, again, I think I said this last week, it's Kali Yuga. People are misguided terribly. And they're misguided by the religious leaders because they're in Maya. They're unenlightened. So the scriptures become twisted.
Thank you, Gurudev.
Yeah. It's sad. It's sad to see it. But Kali Yuga, these things go on. I think I'd asked last week, there's many places in India where cows are slaughtered. Practically everywhere. It's Kali Yuga, it's horrible. And again, this is why we see all these horrible wars, which Prabhupada told us. Okay, that was a thought that came to my mind about even if we see devotees eating meat. They are, and I say they're devotees because they're trying. They're chanting. The holy name is very merciful. So even, I don't care what anyone's doing, just keep chanting. I don't care if they're a butcher and they're a gambler, they get intoxicated. I have one student who is a really good student and great reader and chants, not a lot, but everyday chants, some. Can't give up intoxication. Can't give up smoking marijuana. But that's okay, because this person is still advancing and loves to hear about Krishna. But anyway, we want to be very strict with ourselves and very understanding with others, very lenient. Okay. So I think we only had one question that came in from Nitai. So let's... Nitai, you want to read your first question?
Read the whole.
I have it if you don't.
Okay, I can pull up. So this is from the purport of Canto 11, Chapter 3, verse 20.
This is juicy. You'll like it, everyone. You'll like this reading.
So verse 20 from the extract from the purport, it says, one's so-called wife, home, children, relatives, bank account, and so on are all temporary phantasmagoria. And even while manifest, they can never give real satisfaction to one's senses. To acquire wealth in this world, one is practically forced to become the killer of his own soul. The relationships of master and servant, father and son, husband and wife entail exchanges of well-wishing and service that give a sense of material gratification, but such ephemeral devotion can never bring about the eternal absolute benefit of the soul. Therefore, those whose intelligence is uncontaminated should surrender at the lotus feet of Krishna and give up the ludicrous pursuit of permanent material happiness, a pursuit which can be compared to a dog chasing its tail. Question is, wanted to hear your realization, Gurudev, on how going after ludicrous pursuit of permanent material happiness is like a dog chasing its own tail, and how running after wealth only means forcing oneself to become the killer of the soul.
So the way I would answer that is that how many people have seen a dog chase its tail? Has everyone seen a dog chase its tail? And
I have not seen Gurudev. Maybe I didn't notice. I'm not. Yeah.
yeah, sometimes they get they chase their tail, but they never get it. And as they go, the tail just keeps moving as they're moving. And they go round and round. He goes round and round and round and round chasing it. He never gets it. All he does is get tired out from that and frustrated because he can't get it. So in the same way, the materialists, we're basically chasing pleasure. We're looking for satisfaction and sense gratification. But we never get the satisfaction. We never quite get there. And we think, like, for example, let's say you're a young man and you're thinking, okay, I want to go to college. I want to get a degree so that I can support a family and get a wife and have children, and it's not a devotee now, a regular materialistic person, but they're a responsible materialistic person. So they're thinking, I'll get an education, I'll get a nice job, I'll work hard, we'll go on vacations with the family, and so on. But they have a plan. So this is like the tail, and they're running after it. And even if they get their education, and if they get the family and children, and if they get a good bank account, there's always something else that they need to get, because they never find real satisfaction in what they're doing. They never get they never get the tail. Only a crazy person would say, yes, or a devotee would say, actually, I'm really happy. We're finding real happiness because we're finding happiness not in our senses, but in our soul. It's when we turn inward is where we find all the pleasure. Prabhupada gives the example of a deer when the rainy season comes. The grass is kind of covered, and it runs everywhere looking for grass, but grass is actually everywhere. He just isn't seeing it. He can actually go down and eat it, but he's not seeing it. So this is the idea, is that no sense gratification will ever satisfy us. A man thinks, if I have a wife, I can enjoy with her, but in a materialistic relationship, they're not raising God-conscious children. That's actually considered to have a child. It's a holy act. Krishna says, "Kamasmi." It is me. Just like Krishna says, "Tapame hridayang sakshat," that I'm non-different from tapasya. Tapasya is Krishna, and but materialistic families, they just, you never really get where you want it to be. Nothing's ever really satisfying. And even if it appears satisfying, it's all going to fall apart. Even if the dog grabs its tail, because sometimes you'll see the dog can catch its tail for a moment, right? But then it can't hold it. So it's like that. It's all going to fall apart in the end. It will fall apart terribly at the end. The husband becomes old, the wife becomes old, the children, they're out of the house, they're gone. Who knows what they're up to? It's a whole struggle. It's struggling to make the money and work, and they don't want to work, and at the end, everything dies. Everything's finished at the end. Everybody dies, and everybody has to start all over in their next life. They never catch. Whereas devotees, we're actually catching the tail. We're actually the real, our goal. We're able to achieve it, and that's the greatest goal of all: eternality, where it's an eternal life of bliss and happiness that's ever expanding. But a materialist, it all falls apart. And then they've got all their karma to deal with. Even good karma. So they go to heavenly planets for something. Because in age of Kali, nobody's going to Svargaloka. Maybe some sages up in the Himalayas but generally, the average person, no way, not in Kali Yuga. And it takes actually many lives generally it takes many lives to even get to go to Svargaloka. Accruing all kinds of karma. But then they get there, and it still doesn't satisfy them. Eventually they fall down. Even the yogis that are able to merge into Krishna's Brahman effulgence, which is real pleasure. It is real pleasure when one is merged into Krishna. But why do they fall down from there? If it is real pleasure, who can answer this question? Parampara, you know the answer to this question.
Gurudev, because there is no duality in there. There should be a lover and beloved, the relationship. There is no real ananda. There is peace, but not the love that Lord experience or devotees experience.
There's more than peace.
Mm.
There's more than peace. It is pleasure. Because it is Krishna. It is pleasure. But the reason we fall down, which you had, your answer was correct, just when you added the word peace. The real problem is that we're looking for loving exchange. That's what our soul is all about. You can't change that. A magnet is always looking for iron, and our soul is always looking for Krishna. George Harrison famously said that everyone is looking for Krishna. It just said most that don't know it. And that's the answer to where Krishna says in the Gita, all men follow my path in all respects. All men follow my path in all. Everyone's looking for Krishna. They just don't know it. So in the Brahman effulgence, though, there's great pleasure there that we can't. It's way greater than it's spiritual pleasure. The pleasure in Svargaloka we can't even imagine. But it doesn't. It's not spiritual pleasure. The senses are like at their the best, but it still doesn't satisfy the soul. But in Brahman, we're actually it is satisfying, but not enough. It's missing something, and it's missing bhakti. It's missing, as Parampara Prabhu correctly said, it's missing love, lover and beloved. And that could also be, just love. It doesn't have to be a lover in the male-female sense. Like, for example, people that are serving Ram, it's all pretty much in veneration. But it's completely satisfying. Hanuman didn't want to do anything but serve Ram. It couldn't get any better for him because that's just his constitution. But in this day and age, because we're followers of Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya is taking us all to Goloka Vrindavan, with the ultimate goal of assisting in the pleasure of Radha and Krishna, bringing them together. There's nothing that will make us happier than seeing Krishna enjoying. And nobody can please Krishna like Radharani. So it brings us the greatest pleasure. The greatest pleasure, seeing them come together. And Krishna, and it's so great that Krishna himself wants to come and experience it. What are my devotees tasting? It's even higher. Therefore, Krishna came as Lord Chaitanya to taste. Wow. And he went mad in pursuing service to Krishna in that mood of separation. He went completely mad. And we can read all the stories in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, especially in the Anshalila, the third section. Lord Chaitanya went crazy in mood of separation. And the gopis get to experience that. And Radha gets to experience that. So we're making arrangements for them to come together. Then arrangements are made where Krishna makes an arrangement where he separates. And we bring them together. And it's the ultimate joy. Okay, so then the second part of your question was about the killer of the soul. We see that several places in verses, like in the Krishna book, in the introduction, I believe it is. Prabhupada quotes the verse, Nivriti tarashar upagiyamanad bhavosharach chotra manobaramat ka uttama shloka gunanavatat puman virijeta vina pashugna. So this verse is the very first thing in the Krishna book. I believe it's the introduction. Nivriti tarashar upagiyamanad, that hearing about Krishna, hearing about Krishna is the greatest purifying ecstasy. It's hearing the glories of Krishna. It's like it's like Oshadi, it's like an herb that's purifying our hearts. Uttama Shloka Gunanavadat, the hearing the glories of Uttama Shloka Krishna, who's praised with transcendental sounds. So Nivritti Tarshar means that Nivritti means to give up, and Tarshar means the ugliness in our hearts. It becomes purified by hearing. Nivritti Tarshar Upagiyamanad. So it's the medicine that purifies us. Nivritti Upagiyamanad Bhavosha Shochamano Bharamat. Uttama Shlokanabhat Puman Vidajeta Vanapashugnat. So it ends by saying, those who will not hear the glories of Krishna are Vina Pashugnat. They're like killers of the soul. They're killing, they're like the butcher or someone killing their own soul. And that understanding is that human form of life is so valuable. And if we don't take advantage of it, it's like killing our soul. I mean, we know the soul is eternal. You can't kill the soul. But it says like that. It just reads like that. There's no greater waste. Our soul wants Krishna. But we don't want to hear a transcendental sound vibration. So who will not listen except someone who wants to kill the soul? The soul is practically dead when it's not experiencing Krishna. The pleasures of this world, the soul doesn't appreciate it all. It's only our minds making us think that we're enjoying in this world. It's a fantasmagoria. We're thinking we're happy. Happiness, real happiness means it never stops. And it's totally satisfying and never stops. The phantasmagoria is when we think we're happy in this world. Say somebody's a great rock star and people are bowing at their feet like they're a god, and they're wealthy and they're famous and they've got everything. That's not pleasure. It isn't pleasure. It's just a phantasmagoria that now they're happy. And they're going to get old and they're going to die. Real happiness, we're starting to experience a drop of it. And we've all experienced a drop of pleasure. And that is a pleasure we're experiencing right now, glorifying Krishna. Because Krishna says that Machjita madgata prana bodhantya parasparam katin chastamanyacham tushanti cha ramanti cha. That when devotees, they want to come together and they want to hear, Krishna said, they want to hear about my glories. Thoughts of my devotees dwell in me. And their lives are attached to serving. And they experience great satisfaction and bliss conversing about me. Tushanti means to be satisfied. And Ramanti means pleasure. You're satisfied and experiencing great pleasure. And that's what we're doing right now. We're getting a taste of it. Because I see you all. You come back. Everybody comes back. We're back here every week. When Nitai and Parampara were in Hawaii, they got a little, even in the beginning, a little taste. They had no idea what it was. They were getting a little taste when they first started coming to the temple. And it kept drawing them back and drawing them back and drawing them back. And then they started having all kinds of questions. Then they started chanting. Then even they left Hawaii. They went went far away. But they had that taste. They wanted more. And we're all experiencing that. It's just a beginning drop. But it's so sweet, you can't go back. So if we have the opportunity, we don't take it. It's like killing the soul. Of course the soul can't be killed. And eventually, that person will, everyone will go back to Krishna. But who knows how long? It's already been since time immemorial. It's time to go back, and there's never been an easier time. Because Lord Chaitanya has just come. The Panchatattva have come. Lord Chaitanya and his associates have come and made it so easy. Doesn't matter if you're qualified. Doesn't matter if you're qualified. Patra patra vichur nahi nahi stanastan. Lord Chaitanya told Haridas Thakur and Nityananda, patra patra. Patra means someone who's qualified, and apatra, someone who's not qualified. Patra patra. Patra to vichur. Vichur means to consider. Patra patra vichur nahi. That means don't consider. And stanastan, whether it's in a proper place or not a proper place. Wherever it is, wherever you are, don't consider. Because anyone can just take the holy name. The Panchatattva, they broke into the storehouse of love of Krishna. And they plundered it. They just took it. They were just giving it away. If somebody came and they wanted to give a materialist diamonds, boy, yes, give me. We're giving something infinitely sweeter than diamonds. We're giving Prema Pumarta Mahan, the highest goal. Not just love of Krishna, but love of Radha and Krishna. In Braj. It's never been, in one lifetime we can do it. Doesn't matter how, I can tell you, Prabhu, I was totally unqualified materially, born in a meat-eating family, and my whole life was all set to go to medical school and try to enjoy the world. But I could see I thought I was happy. But once I tasted real happiness, I know, no, that's not real. That wasn't real happiness. This happiness is so much superior to anything I can imagine in this world. Even being a great rock star or jazz musician or famous. And we see them, they all have problems. They're all drinking problems. So many of them committed suicide. Great people, they have everything that you want in life. Okay, your second question was, let's see if anybody else has a question, and then we'll go to your second question.
Right.
Anybody have a question for us today? Parampara and...
Gurudev, I joined yesterday and I asked the question. So I haven't...
That was yesterday.
Yeah.
That was yesterday.
Yes, that's true.
Can you go tell the deities, deities, I fed you yesterday. Don't you remember yesterday I fed you? I made you sabji. I cooked nice kachoris I made. You're going to say, well, Parampara, that was good. I appreciate it. What about today? Today's another day.
Gurudev, I have one question though, Gurudev. This, I don't know if they will think it's technical or not. But on in Srimad Bhagavatam, one devotee was, I had a conversation with devotee and he's like, Srimad Bhagavatam does not talk about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there is one sloka.
It does. There are several slokas that talk about...
So only one sloka, that Krishna Bodham Tuisa Krishnam Sangopangastra Parsadam Yagna San Kirtana Praya Yajanti Sumedasa. That's the only one I know for the reference to the book.
The very, very, very last shloka.
Mm.
If you're giving somebody instructions, you're gonna take the most important one and say it last.
Mm.
For example, if you're, let's say you're going on a trip, and your parents, don't forget to take this, don't forget to take that, put this in the car, take this, do that, do this. The last thing they're going to say is drive safely.
Yeah.
Who cares about anything else? Drive safely.
Mm.
That's the last thing, isn't it? Drive safely. So what is the last verse of the Bhagavatam? Nama Sankirtanam Nasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamanas Tannamami Haring Param. That means that Nama Sankirtanam Yasya, those who perform Sankirtan. Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam. That means that all of their sinful activities are wiped out. Sarva Papa Pranashanam. Pranamo Dukkha Shamanas. And all of your miseries end. Tannamami Haring Param. And you go back to the lotus feet of Krishna. So you look that verse up. Nama Sankirtanam Yasya. The last verse is Sankirtan. Now, of course, the Bhagavatam is takes us to understanding surrender to Krishna, and we see, what is the purpose of life and so on. It really establishing Krishna as God. So, but the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is how to surrender to God, especially in this age of Kali. It's really focused on what to do now. Krishna gave instructions 500 years ago, but now a lot of things have changed because Lord Chaitanya came. And it's an issue I have, because a lot of people are reading Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna's he's tough in the Bhagavad Gita. He's telling you, surrender unto me. You gotta, but he says it's, after many lifetimes of piety. Ye shantantikata papam, jananam punya karmana. One who's ye shantantikata papam, one who's given up all of his, he's freed himself from all of his sinful activities. Jananam punya karmana. Jananam means many births. Jananam punya karmana. Many births of doing piety. Te dvandva mohe nirmutag. Then you become freed from duality and illusion. In bhajate mandridvata, we finally surrender to Krishna. That's not an easy, I was not on that level. I hadn't performed lifetimes of piety. I had plenty of bad karma racked up. But so Lord Chaitanya's made it so easy. Just take it, just take the fruit. Doesn't matter if you're the most sinful person, like Jagai and Madhai. They were bad dudes, but they took Lord Chaitanya's mercy, Lord Nityananda's mercy especially, and attained all perfection. They became great devotees, great Vaishnavas. So that's especially taught in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. But it's definitely mentioned in the Bhagavatam. It prepares us. Prabhupada actually gave us that right in the very beginning. The book, it's called The Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. And that was a book that we had. I can't remember if Prabhupada had already wrote that in India, or he wrote it when he came to America. Does anybody know? I can't remember. But I know it was available. I was a relatively early devotee, and when I came, that was available. we had Bhagavad Gita, we had just the first 3 volumes of the Bhagavatam. That's all. First 3 volumes of the first canto, basically. Canto 1, right? There's how many cantos in the Bhagavatam?
12.
12, right. We had 1. We had Bhagavad Gita. We had 3 volumes of the Bhagavatam. We had teachings of Lord Chaitanya, which is kind of like the Chaitanya Charitamrita, but it was all about Lord Chaitanya. But it didn't get into all the nectar that we get in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. I haven't read it, quite frankly, in many, many, many years. We had Sri Upanishad and Nectar of Devotion. They were all, when I came, and Krishna book. So when I came in 72, all these books were available. But then Prabhupada, at one time Prabhupada said, all we really need is the Bhagavad Gita and the first 3 volumes of the Bhagavatam. He says, that's sufficient to take you back to Godhead. But then, as he translated more, he said, you must read all of my books. And there's a lot of cool stuff out there to read, but for my students, I always say, there's a lot of nectar that devotees have written and so on, but we primarily want to stick with Prabhupada's books. Everyone should read the entire Bhagavatam and the entire Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you have a reading capacity, I mean, some people are just not readers, and it's very difficult for them. So I'm not going to beat them up and say, well, you've got to read them. I mean, some people they're just not readers. But I also heard Prabhupada say he was giving a talk, and he was talking about how important reading his books is. You must read my books. You must read my books. I wrote these for you. And then at the end he said, but if you don't like to read, just chant Hare Krishna. The results will be the same. I wish I had that, knew where that was. It's recorded, and I wish I would have saved that and downloaded it to my computer. I didn't hear it right from Prabhupada's mouth, but I heard the tape. It could have even been a room conversation. I'm not quite sure. But he was really emphasizing the importance of reading his books, and then he said, but if you can't, just chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna is Eva Kevalam. We've heard that verse, Harinam, 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 Eva Kevalam. Eva Kevalam means everything's in it. Everything you need, all the medicine you need is in it. Kalua, Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva. There's no other way in this age of Kali. Gatir Anyata. Gati means goal. Anyata, other. There's no other way to reach the supreme goal. So you should learn that verse. You're a verse guy, Parampara.
Yes, Gurudev.
The last verse of the Bhagavatam. Because you told your guru there's only one verse. You have to read it's a very that's where he signs off.
Okay.
That's where it's a last verse. Last thing you hear. Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamanas Tannamami Haring Param. It's a good verse for both for any of you to know if you're learning verses.
That's good.
People will think you're real smart. You can pull that off and whoa, this guy knows his stuff. It's impressive one. It's such an important verse. It's the last thing, and you don't really hear it that much.
Mm.
You don't hear it quoted that much. But that's a card you can pull out at any time when it's the last verse of the Bhagavatam, the last verse. What's there? 18,000 verses we save for last. Drive carefully. Sankirtan. Last verse. Ganesham Prabhu, question. You always have questions.
And don't give the answer like mine.
I'm good. I'm good, Gurudev, at the moment.
Good means you've surrendered to Krishna. Have you surrendered to Krishna?
I am. I'm trying, like with your grace and with God's grace. I'm trying.
Good. Good for you. Good for you. Very proud of you.
Thank you.
And you're still chanting your 16 rounds.
Yes, Gurudev.
Amazing. Amazing. You have Parampara Prabhu, especially Parampara, and Padmalochan to thank. They really, they're the ones that really got into your heart, reached you. You'll never, you remember them forever. And just like the one devotee who really captured me, Abhirama, it brings tears to my eyes to just think of him. So you had real, very, very empowered. They were actually sort of your Vartma Pradarsha, one who's showing the way, Vartma Pradarsha, and Shiksha Gurus. And they brought you to, they steered you in the perfect direction. You'll be forever indebted to them. There's no way to pay them back, other than what they want to see is you eventually becoming initiated and watch you continue to advance in spiritual life. That's the only way to really repay them, so to speak. Something can never be repaid. Okay, how are we for time? Oh my God, we're at the top of the hour. Any final question? We got a few minutes. Don't have to run off.
We also have Ramdas Prabhu.
Who else is here?
Ramdas Abhiram.
I don't see him. I guess, yeah, I don't see him, I guess, unless... Ramdas Abhiram, did you have a question? Whatever happened to, I haven't seen for several weeks now that I think about it, is Vrindavan Chandra. Is he
He's been busy with some things. I saw him last week. Yeah,
he never used to miss a class.
Right.
Is he okay? Do I need to call him?
No, he's fine. He's fine. He came last week. I met him at the construction site of the temple. So he just came to check the construction, and he said he was just a little busy.
Tell him that Gurudev was asking about him.
Yes, yeah. I'll let him know. I told him, we don't see you in the class, and he said, "Oh yeah, I've been busy."
Well, yeah, it's important to stay in touch,
right?
Here regularly.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is. I got to hear classes every day.
Hey, Krishna. Sorry.
Oh, no
thank you,
problem.
Prabhu. I don't have any question.
He said he has or doesn't have a question. What did he say?
No, Prabhu.
No question. Okay.
I don't have any question. No question.
Good.
I'm driving. That's why.
No excuse. If you don't have a question, you must surrender 100% to Krishna right now and go back to Godhead and put in a good word for me when you get there.
It says it's only with the blessing of the devotees, so you have to bless me first.
Well, I don't have so many blessings to give, but the ones I give out, I just get them from Prabhupada and hand them down. He's the real sunshine. Okay, so we can end here, and thank you all very much for being here. And we'll see you all next time. Are we meeting Ganesham with
Joyendra? He hasn't informed me, but if he informs me, I will let you know, and then we can decide a time and we can meet Gurudev.
Okay, that 4 o'clock seems to work out pretty well. It's like 11 o'clock his time or something.
It's 7:45 a.m. his time, 9 p.m. in East, so it's favorable for everyone, I guess.
I see. Yeah. Oh, perfect. Okay, great. All righty. See you all next time. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai Shri Gurudev ki jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Hare Krishna.